Good morning, everybody. Well, is it?
Good
No, it's
morning.
not quite after. Good morning.
Still morning in New South Wales.
Morning. Very good. Very good. How are we all?
Good, thank you.
Hands?
All good, Mathika.
Excellent. Lovely to see so many faces. We are expecting quite a large group today. I first would like to acknowledge that I'm coming to you this morning from Noongar country down on the south coast, Wajari Noongar Budja, and paying my respects to the elders past, present and emerging, and that they have been passing on knowledge on this country for eons, and hopefully today we can continue that tradition. I'm going to pass on what I've figured out about passkeys over the last little while, and did a bit of a deep dive on it all over the last week, just to make sure that I was correct with my assumptions, etc. So this is going to be another interactive workshop. I would like a quick show of hands. Who uses passkeys already? Yep, there's a few. Very good. Very, very good. All right. So, who has forgotten a password in the last month or so? Yep, me too. Does anybody use a password keeper? Just a show of hands, yes. Yep. And would they show of hands for the native Apple one? Yep. Show of hands for the native Google one? Yep. A couple, yeah, okay. Anyone else that uses a different password keeper, pop your hands up. Yep, excellent. There'll be some time to have a chat about those moving forward, so that would be great. Just a nod or a jump in with your mic open up. Do those other ones that people are using, do they have pass keys for you on there? Yes, okay, right. You might you feel free to take your mics off mute and tell me if there's anything that you want to contribute to the conversation. So yeah. So basically, passkeys are a different way of getting into your accounts. So I must admit, I used to say that they were like the old days. Remember back in the day when Telstra accounts came online and you had to be logged onto your own computer, and that had a piece of code or something in there that it would check when you logged in. And so if you weren't on your own computer, or if you didn't have it on a little USB key back then, you couldn't get into your Telstra account. Passkeys are a little bit like that. So I asked my good friend ChatGPT yesterday to break it down for me, to explain it to me like I was 12, so that I could get a better understanding of the technology. So basically what happens is when a website pushes you to create a passkey, the website creates a public version of the key, or the keyhole maybe, and then it creates a private key that lives on your device or in your password manager on your device, and it never leaves. So if you've got those pass keys backed up to your cloud, then they should go across your devices. And when it is working like that, it's a beautiful thing because it makes life a lot easier for everyone. So that stays private on your device. The website keeps the public key and you keep the private key. Now, that reduces the risk of scammers coming in with a fake website because it won't have that public key. Only the actual account has the actual public key. So basically, when you're logging in, it sends a challenge. The site sends a challenge to your device saying, prove that you are who you say you are. So then you get your actual private key and it verifies then and there. And it checks it, they do their little handshake, and they're all good. So that is a lot more secure than putting in a password, because passwords can be tricked out of people, they can be cracked with algorithms. There's a whole bunch of ways that passwords can be compromised. So multi-factor kind of stopped that, but who's heard of the scams that get on the phone and pretend that they're from NBN or Telstra or whatever, and they convince you to give you their multi-factor code that your authenticator or your SMS comes through. SMSs potentially could be being duplicated by, because there's a thing called spoofing on mobile phone numbers, so they can basically duplicate your number and receive those messages. So there's always a risk, low, but there's always a risk that those could be compromised as well. So these passkeys remove all of those sorts of potential risks. So they are a lot more secure, and they are locked into your device. You must have your device up to date, and you must have a code on it locked and put your biometrics in. So a lot of us, I know a lot of people that I work with don't always put a passcode on their device because it's a pain to open all the time. A lot of the newer devices definitely have facial recognition. So that is probably one of the more secure ways of locking. There's also fingerprints that can unlock your device, but you will always need a 4-digit code with it. So you must remember to keep that code secure, because that will open the key locks. Do you know what I mean? That will open the pass key. So think of your phone as a little lockbox with all of your digital keys on it, so that when you're trying to get into your accounts, that's where they are. Does anyone have any questions about that explanation? No? Very good. Yeah? No? Look. Yep, Candia? Can't hear you, sorry. Still can't hear you, mate, sorry.
Yeah. Hello. Has that got me in?
Yep, it has.
Yeah. You said early that the passkey was on your device.
Yep.
And then you said something about putting it up in the cloud so that it would be on any device that you used at the cloud. I think that's what you said anyway.
Yep.
And I'm wondering how that can be not two mutually exclusive things. If it's on your device, it's on your device, and if that's where it's the only place it's going to be. But if you put it up in the cloud and then you can get it onto any device, it doesn't sound very secure to me. It seems like it's a, just not non-compatible statement.
No, I understand what you mean, but the password keepers where you keep them are encrypted. So the encryption goes onto that app that creates it. So basically, for me, I'm completely in an Apple environment. So the iCloud puts my pass keys and my passwords in there. So it doesn't matter which of my Apple devices I'm signed into, I can access my pass keys. Now, I have biometrics on my desktop, on my laptop, and my iPad and my iPhone. So that's secure on all of those. So I use that passwords app for mine. Now, I've been testing with the Google account. So long as you have got your Google account locked down with multi-factor or passkey, etc., then it will also, I mean, these big companies, Apple, Microsoft, and Google are the three that I've researched this week. And so Microsoft's Edge has it in there. So if you've got a Windows machine, that keeps that on anything that you're signed into Microsoft Edge. So whilst it does keep it on your device, if you are using that password keeper, which is fully encrypted, it will read that across your devices, because they're all yours. You're signed into your Apple account. I cannot put my passwords app onto an iPhone that's not signed into my Apple account, which is also locked down and secured. So does that make sense?
Sort of. sort of.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the risk would be if it was only on my phone and I lost my phone or it got damaged, I would be locked out of everything. So having it backed up into the cloud means that if I lose my phone, I can still get in with my other bits and pieces if I need to while I wait for a phone to be replaced. Sally, your hand's up.
Yeah, Natika, perhaps you can just explain exactly what a passkey is. I mean, my understanding is it's like facial recognition and touch ID, but is that correct or not correct?
No.
Right.
No, that's what unlocks it for you.
Right.
So
So what is actually a passkey versus a password? I guess that's the question.
Yeah. So going back to the website that you're say it's MyGov, for example. MyGov will issue like it has the keyhole, and that's a public key for you, just for you. And then your device creates the key, the private key that stays in your account, I probably should have said, rather than on your device, in your secured account. And then when you go back to log in to MyGov next time, it will issue the challenge to say to the device that's trying to log in as me, it will say, are you really Natika? And I will show the key, use my biometrics to unlock it, and then it lets me in. So you don't have to do anything. Let me show you. So I normally like to do these things live, but because of how challenging this can be when I'm like, I've done it on the Google one because I figured there'd be a lot of people with Google, and I don't speak Android very well. So rather than me fumbling and wasting your time, I've recorded this. Let me share this with you. So this was an example of me signing into an Android phone with one of my Google accounts. So just so I've clicked on the accounts at the top, add another account. So Google, it's checking. So it's verifying that it's me trying to sign in. So on the actual device. So now when I add my natika.ascca Gmail account, and I've already created a passkey for this on my iPhone. So I've gone to try another way, use my passkey, and then there's nothing on this device. If it was on this device, it would just let me in, no problems. So I'm telling it to use another device. I then use my phone that the passkey's on to scan that QR code. It was just easier for me to use that than a Windows machine at the time. Then my iPhone's checked my face and it's gone, okay, let me in. Here's the terms. And then we're in. So you can see I didn't have to go and find my password. I didn't have to go and scan. I just had to scan that QR code. Now that works whether you are on whether you're on a Windows machine or a desktop or anything. So if you are using a computer that's not yours, or so at your club you've got computers and somebody needs to log into their MyGov to show something. If they've set up a passkey and they have their phone with them, it will send the challenge to their phone. And you can, so who uses the My ID app for MyGov for your digital identity? Yeah, it's similar to that. So you know how you can log in on your desktop and it will go to the, it'll send the code to the My ID. This removes the codes, it's just the keys. So it's the challenge is sent, the device that's got the key on it says, yep, that's them, they're all good and you're in. Has that explained it a bit better or not really?
Yeah, I think that does it. So effectively your Face ID or your Touch ID effectively unlocks the key to be used. Is that right?
Yes,
sort of
correct.
Open the door kind of thing.
Yeah. So I will show you on my desktop. So again, because I'm in the Mac environment, so this is my passwords app on my desktop computer, and it's hitting my watch saying do you want that to open? So I can authorize it on here, or I can put my fingerprint on the keyboard and it lets me in. So that is letting me into there. And you can see I have a section in there just for passkeys, and then there's passwords in there as well. So lockdown, I have a password to get into the computer, etc. If I didn't have a password on the computer, then it would force me to unlock with my biometrics on the passwords app, because that's a fully encrypted application. That help? Anyone else? I can see there's another hand up. Jorg?
Yeah, that's me. By the way, the chat is not working for other members, so
Right.
it's, I guess
Yeah.
you have to have an account here.
Yeah.
But I think it's all fun and games as long as you're on full control of your mobile device. But if somebody somehow hacks into that, then they have access to all your passkeys. They don't need much else anymore. Then they could go into all your bank
Yes.
accounts, whatever. That's the one thing I'm concerned about with the whole passkey setup. Otherwise, it's
Yeah.
perfect. It's the combination public-private key is really good. I
Yeah.
think they made good progress. I still doubt my mom at age of 81 now. I would find it easy.
Yeah.
I did stuff like
Yeah.
that with her, but it's not necessarily something that's for somebody who's not tech savvy to be fully digested and used for everything easily. So that's one thing I'm concerned about. I'm happy to play around with it. I'm aware of the risk, but I don't see that as the final solution. It makes it super easy for elderlies to work with those things. I don't think it's there yet.
Yeah, I would disagree. If they're on their own device and these pass keys are all set up, it makes it super easy to get into all of their accounts on that device, because all it does is goes and checks autonomously, use your fingerprint or your facial recognition, and you're in. It seriously is a lot easier. The example that I've just given is difficult because I'm on an Android device and my passkey is on my own phone. Whereas if that passkey was on that device, I would have been in, not have to remember the password, not have to go and get my password book or any of those things. So if the situations where I would not put somebody onto a passkey, if it was an option to not be on a passkey, would be if they didn't have their own device, if they didn't have it locked and secured and have an understanding and make sure that they weren't going to forget how to get into that device. I have some clients who phones are disposable, so they come and go and they don't have a good understanding of your online accounts. So online accounts are where it's at. It's a Microsoft account, it's a Google account, it's an Apple account. Those are the three big ones. If you're wanting to use a third-party app, something like 1Password or I can't remember any of the others off the top of my head, those ones, they would be, you'd have your account online as well, and those should technically make it as easy to get in. So yeah, that's my pushback, I suppose, on that one. But
no, that's okay.
I agree.
That's okay. And
Yeah,
I've installed it for elderlies as well. I just still find it could be easier, and I don't know, it's still, there's so many technologies out there right now, and different platforms use different setups, and it's hard to, it's easy enough for me to do it, but I always think, somebody elderly and understanding how they all come together is not necessarily a smooth experience.
No, that's right. And I think that's the challenge as digital mentors, is to be able to adequately explain how it works and why it's safer. So it is safer because it can't be guessed, or the algorithm can't crack it. And look, I always say never, because you never know if, one day down the track, who knows, it might be that it is crackable. But at the moment, it's the most secure way to access your accounts.
I think
it can't.
Sorry to interrupt. I think one of the outcomes there is to highlighted to all students how important it is to make their phone absolutely safe, to understand how much value in that device is these days. It's not just losing something that you communicate with. It potentially opens up to stealing all your wealth. So
yeah, absolutely it does. And that's the thing, is that those scammers that will trick you into having a screen sharing session, that's still going to be an issue, but they're going to be on the legitimate websites. And banks, I did a bit of research why banks aren't using passkeys yet, and it's exactly for those reasons that not everyone has an appropriate handset yet. So as the older devices wear out and we move forward, potentially they will. Banks have regulatory and other hurdles to jump through, so they need to make sure that they're not locking people out. So the biggest risk would be if you had one device and that was it, and that was your set of keys, and you lose that, and then you lock yourself out of your Google account or your Apple account or your Microsoft account and can't get back in, then you've lost access to your accounts. So yeah. All right, I have some other hands up. Mike Cassidy, yours is up. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Just two things. I use Dashlane as my password manager, and when I have gone to just what I'm saying is that passkeys, there's nothing to see. Like when I go into Dashlane now, beside my logins, my secure notes, etc., all the various parts of it, there's another tab for passkeys. And if I go into that, it shows me the accounts that I have passkeys for and the website addresses, but you don't actually see a string of digits or anything. So when a passkey is basically invisible. When I went to a couple of sites, I had a challenge. Do you want to create a passkey? If I say yes, that passkey is added to my Dashlane passkeys.
Excellent.
So that's where it comes from. You get the challenge from the website. Yes. And it's up to you whether you accept it or not.
Yes, correct.
Once you accept it, then you no longer, as long as you're using, your device with that, in my case with Dashlane opened on it, you don't have to put in a password. It's automatic behind the scenes.
Yeah, and that's it. If you've got your account set up, then it's wonderful. So thanks, Mike. David Matthews, you're next in line.
Thanks. I was just going to say, I've experimented using passkeys with my desktop computer. I have a desktop computer, but not my mobile device. And I found it's very simple because I just need to know the PIN to get into my computer. So it challenges me with the PIN basically. And that is very simple. I've done that for MyGov and for AGL, my energy account. I guess the simplicity for the AGL was they used to have my login, my password, and then they'd send something to my phone, and I'm just trying to get into my AGL account. Like, there's not much you can do in there. I have to go and find my phone to get the code, and now I just go passkey, click, and it goes put your PIN in, and off I'm straight in. So it's very simple. I'm finding it useful for that.
That's how it should be. If you've got them set up like that, it should make life much easier for everyone. So, but it's that pathway to get there, I think, is the big challenge. So, Bernard, you're next.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
Oh, yes. I was just thinking about what I think was Mike who asked whether it was secure in terms of the fact that the passkeys is stored in cloud as well as on the device. And I'm just reading it here because I just did a quick look up in Gemini. The common misconception is that many people worry that because passkeys can be in the cloud, in quotes, they are less secure than a physical key. However, even synced passkeys require local verification, and in brackets, your Face ID, your fingerprint or device PIN close bracket, to be used. A hacker who steals your encrypted vault from the cloud still can't use your passkeys without your actual face or thumbprint. So that's be
great.
how that
Thank
can,
you.
you can get around the fact that you can't get in without your face or your thumbprint or your PIN, because they're actually stored on your device itself, but
Yes.
they do sync to the cloud.
Right.
So
That's
in that
starting
sense,
to
it's
make
secure.
sense. Yeah. So each of my devices, thank you so much, Bernard. That's helped to explain for me and get it right in my head. So
I understand.
I've researched how the biometrics are secured on your device. Every device, Android, Apple, and Windows, it stores it away from your actual processing unit in your device. It's on a separate chip. So, you know, when you get a new phone, you've got to set your facial recognition or your fingerprint up again, because none of that data goes into the cloud. It's on each device and it stays there. It doesn't move. And so if your key, your private key, is attached, it's going to be attached to that biometric on that device or each of your devices that have that data on them. So that would make sense in my mind as to how they are secured based on what Bernard's just told us about the fact that it actually needs a piece of your biometric data. Now, I know there's concern over biometrics, you know, that could be used for all sorts of things, but that as far as today's technology is concerned, never say never, but as far as today's technology is concerned, they are not reverse engineerable. So in other words, somebody can't crack into your device and get that data out and then create your image. Does that make sense?
And it's likewise for in the cloud as well. So you can't just download that it's information that's being encrypted in the cloud and try to verify against what? I don't know what. If they haven't got your face and your fingerprint, what are they going to verify against?
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. Does that help? Anyone else have any other questions? No more hands, no more virtual hands up, but anyone else have?
Yeah, it's Kathleen here.
Yes,
I'm
Kathleen.
just concerned. Hello. I'm just concerned about if you're traveling away from home and you lose your phone and you have to buy a new one. How are you going to set up the new phone if you don't know your passwords or anything?
So that's why it's super, super important to have your critical password. So your Apple password, your Android or Google password, and your Windows password, depending on which device you're on. Because look, I'm just looking at the big three, right? Those are the three main devices that people would have. So you need to make sure that your mobile number is definitely up to date on those three accounts and that you have multi-factor authentication turned on for those, because at the moment, the passkeys aren't the only thing that you can use. You can still use your password and then they'll issue the second challenge with your SMS. Now you just need to pop into Optus or Telstra and get your SIM card back up and running to receive that second factor authentication to get in.
Well, I was probably mainly thinking about traveling overseas where you'd have to buy a new phone overseas.
Right. Okay. Yep. So that would be a little bit more of a challenge. My suggestion is have a redundancy built in. So take a tablet as well as a phone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
if you had an Apple iPhone, I think it would be similar with Android as well, is that with Apple, you have the Apple ID. So if you have your Apple ID and password, that's all you would need to set up your phone. And once it's set up, you can actually sync to your cloud. I mean, it will sync automatically to the cloud and you would get all that information back on your new phone.
Okay. Okay.
So with Apple, if you do only have the one device with you and you lose that, the challenge will be how do you get your multi-factor? So you can, from memory, appoint a trusted friend on Apple that can help you get into that. So I've had a situation where one of my son's friends, they were in Japan skiing for Christmas one year, and he lost his phone on the ski lift. And so he got another phone in Japan and he was trying to get into his Apple ID, but he couldn't remember what email address he used or the password. So we got the password reset, and then when he got in, it was the wrong Apple ID. So it's super important to remember which email address is your Apple ID or your Google ID or your Windows ID. Yeah. So, Julie.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Now, I'm nowhere near as tech savvy as all these other people. In fact, I'm a learner. So I'm interested when you said these two-factor, it's not, I know our discussion is not really on this, but this two-factor identification, because I was overseas last year and I wanted to transfer money to Qantas Pay, and they said the two-factor ID, which my Australian phone wasn't working. So I contacted the bank, and I had not only my phone, I had my iPad. I contacted the bank and they said, we need an Italian number to send that two-factor ID to. I didn't know you could send the two-factor identification to also your iPad. I didn't know that.
It depends on how you're receiving your multi-factor. So if it's an SMS, if it's an SMS, then it would have to be your probably Australian number. They wouldn't change that easily. And if they do, then you're not talking to the right bank, I think. And secondly, if it's an authenticator app, so Microsoft have their own authenticator app, Google have an authenticator app, Apple's devices act as their own authenticator. And there are others. I use one called Authy that I put other bits and pieces in. You can lock that in, sync it to the cloud, etc. So if they send that to your other device, that's how you would have got that code. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
No worries. Done. Okay. Anything else? So we've covered the next slide, which was where a passkey is stored. So I do have another recording of me getting into my Google account on the desktop. So I'll just share that to show how that worked. So I'm in an incognito browser, so it's forcing me to sign in again. So I'm signing into my ASCCA address. Then it's asking where do I want. So I've got it in the keychain, which is in my passwords app on my device that I'm using. I just use my fingerprint, unlocks, verifying, no second challenge, and I didn't need to reset my home address, and then I'm in. So I didn't even have to scan the QR code that came up on that one. It was just easy. Now this is the MyGov. So you can see MyGov are trying to stop using passwords because they are compromisable, and for reasons like we discussed earlier, the whole fact that you can be tricked into giving up your multi-factor code, etc. with this. So I have set up a passkey with mine, as well as having the digital ID. So I can just come in here again, go to my keychain, I unlock, then I'm in, and then I can also go and create another passkey if I wish. So you can see here MyGov have allowed to have 3 separate passkeys. So I don't know why well, if you're in an environment where it's across all of your platforms, so across all of your devices, sorry, then I should only need one because it stays in my keychain on my passwords app on all of my devices. So I'm good. I set that up year before. But if I decided that I wanted to, I could create a new one, or if I think that that one's been compromised down the track, I can remove it. So I've got full control in my MyGov account over that passkey. What else did I record? So then you just click next, continue. So it's prompting me saying, do you want to save this outside of my browser? Because this is a Google browser that I'm using, and I'm on an Apple device. So I continue, and then it's telling me that I've got one already in my password manager, or do I want to save it in my password manager for Google? So you can see it's offering me the Google password manager, the iCloud keychain, or using another phone or tablet or security key, or using my Chrome profile. So it's giving me options there. So it's up to us when we're setting them up to understand which ones are which and where it goes. So I didn't end up setting it. So it creates that code. You scan that with your phone if that's where you want to put it. If I wanted to put it in my iCloud keychain, then I would just do that and it would prompt through to the app that I've got on this device. So yes, any other questions? I think my internet's having a few challenges. Now, Julie, your hand's still up. Is that still up from before? I think, yeah. All right. Anyone else have anything that they would like to share?
I do have one.
Yes, Lindsay. Yep.
Yeah. I'm very interested in all of this. I'm with Computer Pals at Newcastle, and have been so for 20 odd years. This is all at about 2 or 3 levels above our average learner at Computer Pals in Newcastle. I'm struggling with it, and I don't work as hard as I should perhaps on keeping abreast of this, but I've got just no vision of being able to take any of this to our average student and have them understand or embrace it. It's just all far too many options, far too complex. I see it as taking us down a very deep rabbit burrow because our people just won't be able to handle it. Just a comment.
Yeah. No, thank you. That's good because you're the experts on your members and your learners. So I think it's about us helping you get your head around how it works and comfortable and confident with it. I must admit, I've been using Passkeys for a while now, and I've just trusted that they're secure, and making sure that I understood how they were. I've left it until I've had to put this slideshow together, and I feel like I've got a better understanding of it now. I'm nowhere near the propeller head that some people are with that whole next level kind of understanding of all of the digital bits and pieces, but I feel like I have a reasonable understanding of how it works and how it's kept safe and all of that. So hopefully we can help you hold your learners' hands moving forward. So yeah, thank you, Lindsay. Bernard, you're next.
Can you hear me? Okay, back on. Yeah, just on the question from Lindsay regarding if it's to do with the MyGov. I was working at ATO before I fully retired, just as at a front end customer service. And one of the things I'm just trying to find at the moment is called a simulator for MyGov and also for ATO online. And you can actually go in there and try it out without having to use your actual identification and things like that. So it's a good exercise or a good way of getting used to the way that the systems work, both ATO and online as well as MyGov. When I find those links, I've
got one here. So yeah. I have got a cheat sheet and some links to send out to everyone later on. So I will put the ATO simulator one on there. I've just found that. I'll show you on a share screen. So all I did was Google for MyGov simulator, and it found the ATO one, so the Access the ATO Online Services Simulator. So that's great to know. Thanks, Bernard. And and I can't find a MyGov one, but I think that potentially will be the only one that's there. Yeah, I haven't found a MyGov one. But on saying that, Be Connected's topic library, if you do want to explain your passkeys, there are some great free resources that your club can use, regardless of if you've got a Be Connected grant or not. This is open for everyone to use. So why reinvent the wheel, right? So there's a topic on there just specifically about the Google Passkeys. So I think potentially there's a balance between Apple and Android devices, but this has all the information about what is a passkey. So you can access those, and there's an article on how to create a passkey in MyGov. The whole topic of using Google Passkeys has what it is and how to create one. So, and then I think the hardest part will be the understanding and creating. Once you've got them and your devices are using them, it's going to be so much easier for everyone. It's just that obstacle of getting onto there and getting people reassured that these are the safest way to access your important accounts. So thanks, Bernard. That's really useful.
Okay.
Sally, you're next.
Sorry. Yep. One more thing regarding the MyGov, the way that I used to use was using a digital ID in terms of signing in instead of using the passkey, because passkey came available after that. So using the digital ID method, all you need is the my ID, used to be called MyGov, yeah, ID, and the My ID app will allow you to create that. So that's another way of using it safely. It's got multi-factor authentication.
Yeah, and that's for things where you need to verify your identity in Australia too. So yeah.
And the little catch to that is your passport is the one that will give you the strongest identity if you need to get into ATO website.
Yes, yeah. Thanks, Bernard. Sally, you're next.
Yeah, thanks, Natika. Yeah, my question, I just actually went into the MyGov app and it didn't have passkey turned on. So it went in just straight away using my Face ID, right? But I turned on the set up the passkey, went through the process, passkey now set up. Does it automatically know once you've set up a passkey that that's the way you should get into an app, or might it still just use my Face ID anyway? So, do I need to turn something else off to make sure that you've got that extra layer of security with a passkey?
Yep. So it depends on what service you're using. With MyGov, it will prompt you and it's encouraging you to turn your password off. So I have turned my password off. I now have two options to sign into MyGov. One is my digital ID, which is my ID app, and the other one is the passkey. So I've got both options on, so that if one's out, I can use the other. So yeah, thanks, Sally. Deborah.
I just wanted to mention, because I didn't know, that I've been using Google Password Manager on my PC for ages, but I didn't know that there was a Google Password Manager app on my Android phone, which I've now installed. So thank you for letting me know that, Natika.
No worries. Google does confuse me somewhat because I'm stronger in iOS in Apple, and so it was a bit of a challenge. I made myself do all this on Android yesterday so that I had some real life examples, and I must admit it was a little bit more frustrating, but maybe that's just me speaking Apple better. If you're comfortable in the Android environment, it shouldn't be that hard. If you want to know what accounts or what services you have passkeys for, it will depend on which device you're on. And I did have an example somewhere. So the Apple devices, you would go into your passwords app, which would be on any of your Apple devices. Your Android devices, you can go into either the Google Password app, or you can go into your Google account and go down to security, and then there's a passkey app in there. On your Windows devices, in your settings, go to the accounts, and then there's a passkeys section in there as well. So I would encourage you all to go and have a play around, be curious, and figure out what's the easiest way for you to do these things yourselves. And then if you're comfortable sharing that information. So I know it's a bit of a journey and it's a bit different, but the more we can put around our learners to empower them to keep their important accounts safe, the better. I like passkeys because of the fact that you can't be tricked into letting the bad people in, and that you don't get into the fake websites that are pretending to be your actual websites. Yes, Julie, you had your hand up.
So I've just gone on into Password Manager. I've gone into Passkeys, and
Yep.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 passkeys that I didn't know that I had done. I don't know how come.
So what sort of account are you on, Apple or Android?
Apple.
Yep. So Apple's pretty good at making things as easy as possible for you to do. So you've obviously, what accounts are they? Are they
An Amazon, a Google, a Shopify, a MyID, Telstra, and a WhatsApp.
Yep. So it would have asked you at some point, do you want to create a passkey? And you would have just clicked yes to get in quickly.
No, someone else did it for me.
Or that. So yeah, I mean, it is easy when it's just there. And so have you noticed it's easier to get into those accounts now?
No, not really.
Right.
Having said that, Nikita, I'm in the process of building a house, so this hasn't been
right. Yeah, fair enough. I totally understand.
But anyway, thanks, I've got all those and didn't know I had them. Good job.
Glenn.
Hi. This is probably an ignorant question. I've missed something, but so I use a Android phone, and I've got an older PC that I'm talking to you from now. So do you need a separate password for each device if the passkey is, sorry, not password, if the passkey is linked to a particular device?
So the easiest way would be to have them on your phone. And then if you're logging in on your desktop computer or your laptop computer, it will ask for a passkey. And when it asks you where it is, you tell it it's not on this device, it's on another device, and then it will pop that QR code up. You would scan that with the device that has your passkeys on it, and then that would let you in. The only way, so if you're on an Android, you could have I don't know whether Google Passwords app will let you install a standalone app on Windows. I haven't looked into that, sorry. But if you're using the Chrome browser, the passwords in there and the passkeys in your Chrome browser will act as that second factor, because if you have them in your Google account and that syncs across to that browser, then that will come across. It's if you're using the Edge browser that you'd have to use your phone.
Yeah, but I have to use the phone in combination. So if I'm just using the desktop, the phone has to be with me.
So if you are using Microsoft's Edge browser, then yes, you would, and your passkey is on your Google Passwords app, yes. However, if you are using Google Chrome and you're signed into your Google account and your passkeys are in your Google account, then no, you wouldn't need the phone, I would think.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking again, if you're overseas and your phone gets stolen,
yeah.
No one wants that to happen, but as Bernard pointed out, as someone, that phone is so valuable.
It is, yeah.
That if you're then stuck because you use passkeys and you can't access it for whatever reason, then you've got problems.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So, but if you can remember, so the important part is remember which account you have those passkeys in, and have another way to get into those if you lose your device and you need to get a new device. So Google account for Android is the super important one. Make sure that your phone numbers are up to date. You've got your secondary email address that you can use to get secure codes sent to if you need to get back into it on another device. Apple, same thing. You can set up a trusted person to help you get back in. And the Windows one, I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure you'd be able to put your phone number in and have an alternative email address to send to. So potentially, if you're traveling with your significant other, you set up their email address as your secondary email address to receive codes to, and hopefully you don't both lose your devices at the same time.
Which is possible.
It is. Yep. Never say never. So yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So like someone else that mentioned before, I use Dashlane.
Yep.
So you can, Dashlane is linked to Passkeys as well.
Yeah, great. So, and that I haven't looked at any of the third-party ones, so we're just purely looking at all the free stuff at the moment. So yeah, thanks, Glenn.
Thanks.
David, you're next.
Just a quick clarification from what Glenn was saying there. So I use my computer and my passkey on my computer. I don't need my phone at all. So because it's my computer, so you don't need a phone. Yep. You don't have to have a phone, and that's the whole benefit for me. I don't have to go and get my phone to log into something.
Yeah. And the other option would be that if you have a Windows device and an Android device and maybe an iPad, so you're triple across all of them. Where we went into the MyGov and it said you can have 3 passkeys. If you didn't have accounts that synced across, you could have a Windows passkey, an Android passkey, and an Apple passkey on that account.
And
so that's redundancies. Yeah.
The other point about phones is often there's an app on the phone for that particular service. So if I give you the example of AGL, I go on my computer, I can log into my account with a passkey. If I go to my phone, there's an app. I don't need a passkey. It's an app, and I use my biometrics to get into the app. Yeah. So often in the phone, you don't actually need a passkey.
Yeah. Very good. Thanks, David. Julie, you're next.
Yeah, just a comment. The other Julie said she had unknown passkeys put on her phone. It shows you how vulnerable you can be by sharing your phone with somebody else, and they can now access those passcodes while they're looking at things. So we need to be careful who we share our phones with. Yeah, and I'm sure Julie's pretty up to date with security issues, but it just shows you how easily it happened. It was just a comment that I picked up on. Yeah.
Julie, I haven't shared my phone with anybody. I have no idea.
No, it would have been you that set them up, and it would have been that Amazon, when you signed in last time, would have said, would you like to create a passkey? And you might have thought it was just a pop-up to say, would you like to? I mean, that's an important note, is to, when pop-ups come up, read them. I'm the worst person for it, because I just click because muscle memory, and it's like, I just need to do what I need to do, and that's how.
That's good news, Julie. I'm glad it happened that way and not through somebody else.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Thank you. That's been a really great session. If anyone else has anything that they want to add, we've got a few more minutes left. But thank you all for your time and your input. I always learn things in these sessions as well, and that's how it should be, is that we should all be sharing information with each other and sharing what we learn and what we know. So thank you. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.